Today we're going to be looking at the laws or rules and properties of exponents. So let's begin. First, we're going to look at the product rule. In the product rule, if our bases are the same, in order to multiply two exponents, all we have to do is add them together. So here we would just have x plus y. An example of this is if we have a to the 5th power and a to the 7th power. Since these bases are the same, all we have to do is add them together. So it'll be a to the 12th power. And remember, when I'm referring to base, our base is this number. Okay, now we're looking at power of a product. Now in power of a product, if we're multiplying two different numbers and we're raising them to an exponent, all we have to do is distribute the exponent outside the parentheses. So now we have a to the x power times b to the x power. So, for example, if we had a and 3 and we had an exponent of 5, it would be equal to a to the 5th power multiplied by 3 to the 5th power. So it's basically just distributing. Now let's look at power of a power. Now in power of a power, we have our exponent inside the parentheses, and we have another one outside the parentheses also. So in order to find this out, all you have to do is take your base and take the two exponents and multiply them together. So now all we're going to have is a to the x multiplied by y. So if we have x to the 3rd power, and outside of the parentheses you have an exponent of 8, all you have to do is take your x as a base and your exponents and multiply them together. So our exponents are 3 and 8. So our final result will be x to the 24th power. Okay, quotient rule. Now in dividing exponents with similar bases, all you have to do is subtract the exponents. So here, all you have to do is take your a as the base and subtract our x and y. Same thing for fractions like these. All you have to do is subtract the x and the y. An example of this, if we have, let's say, y to the 5th power over y to the 2nd power, all you would have to do is subtract the number on the top. So our numerator is 5, so y to the 5th power, and our denominator is y to the 2nd power, so we just take the exponent from that, which is 2, and now we have y to the 3rd power. Okay, power of a quotient or fraction. So in power of a quotient or fraction, it's very similar to power of a product, or we're distributing. Here we're going to be distributing it to our fraction. So all we have to do is distribute the x on the outside of the parentheses to both the numerator and the denominator. So now we have a to the x and the denominator is b to the x. Okay, negative exponents. In negative exponents, if we have a to the negative x power. In order to make that negative x positive, all we have to do is flip the fraction over. So if we flip the fraction over, all we have now is a to the x power, because when we flip it over, the x becomes positive over 1. Now an example, I'll make two examples of this one. If we have a to negative third power, in order to make that exponent of 3 positive, what we would have to do is flip the fraction over, and now it would be 1 over a to the third power. So now our 3 is positive. Now what if both our numerator and denominator both have negative exponents? So let's say x to the negative 2 and y to the negative 3. All we would have to do is just flip over the fraction. So now we would have y to the third power and x to the second power. So basically, just flip it around and our exponents become positive now. Okay, 7, 0 exponent. When our exponent is 0, our answer is always going to be 1. So if it's 7 to the 0 power, 1. 1000 to the 0 power, 1. Now let's go on to fractional exponents. Now in fractional exponents, our number on the numerator is going to be on the top of our base. Now we have radical, whatever is on the bottom, so y. That's going to be our radical. So for example, if we have x to the 1/2 power, we raise the x to the 1 power, so x to the 1 power, and our radical is going to be radical 2. So another example, if we have y to the 1/4, let's say y to the 2/4 or 3/4, that will be equal to y to the third. Remember, the numerator goes on the inside and our denominator goes on the outside. So that was a basic explanation of exponent properties and the different rules and laws they may have. Next video, we're going to be looking at some practice problems you may encounter as you're solving them. So thank you for watching. As always, comment and share this video with anybody you think may find it helpful.